Ooh, the decline and fall of Sparta. Old in stone. Another good video. I was late by 7 minutes, even though I didn't necessarily have to be, because I ordered a micro audio jack extender. You know, male to female, gives me some extra. On a bit of a tight leash here with the the one I have now, going out of my mixer. I can get feedback on my phone, my mic. I still don't know how to tighten this thing down properly. Hopefully this thing is omnidirectional. I don't know. Hey. Oh. Freaking out there thinking that sure Mike wasn't picking. I was checking to see if I got that micro audio jack, but I think I ordered it to my work. Sometimes I'll order stuff that are meant for work, like you know, one of those retractable lanyards, because it makes it convenient. It keeps my ID. I usually hang my key, my ID card, off of the top left pocket. Yeah, it was delivered to the mailbox earlier this year, but not earlier this year, earlier this month, and I don't know where to put it now. If this is it. I just realized I'm like small. Help up. Yeah, this is me in a nutshell. So, yeah, because one of these things, because, all right, let me, oh, what the, take a snip. I put NSIP and then it knew what I was going for. I don't want won't show snipping tool. All right, you can, what the fuck? Never mind. Can't tell. This is fine. But I ordered these nut things, high nut stainless steel. Hit Hut high thut stainless steel. I don't even know Q. 1/4 inch to 20 thread per inch. Female to 3 8 and 16 threads per inch. Male converter screw adapter. Need that to take the brass adapter on my fit the brass adapter onto my mic stand. So that got ordered to my office. I was like wondering because it was like a Friday, like it was the Friday where I finally got this mic back. I think. Ah, crap! I don't even have this part because actually, what happened was I got the brass adapter jammed inside the microphone because the thing was definitely not made out of brass. Neither was this like converter piece. It's got tighter threads pitch on the inside than it does on the outside. So luckily, our logistics gave me a message through Teams like saying, "Hey, you got a package downstairs from Amazon." I did not mean to send that to the office. I meant that to be sent here. So with this piece, I was actually able to fit my mic back on. I always received something like this that had like some sort of black oxide paint over it, I guess for corrosion resistance. But they didn't give me a replacement one of these. The mic came with it. The mic stand does not. Right now, I'm fidgeting with the other one that I got, screwing it in and out. Brass adapter that I got that fixed. But now I don't. Same breath, I also guess that apparently got delivered. Put it in my mailbox, which I can believe it's small enough. I wondering where the heck it went. I'm gonna check something. Ah, crap. My name was on that. Fuck. So I did another sweep for it. Boxes. On with the show. Oh, this is funny.
America cannot.
Why do you have to have the iron politics? Oh. Now the board immediately get deported. In a landmine.
America cannot.
The most longest unguarded borders in the world. Where do I have more like OnlyFans bots falling out? Oh, I want my observer. Oh, yeah. So, this cute account that I follow called Mambo Italia. Italian things, and you're wondering like, why is it talking about Elaine Gu, the famous skier who competed for China instead of America? Apparently, she went to Milan Fashion Week because she's also a model too. Because yeah, I see it. She is a beautiful woman. Will not admit that. Will not contest that. Elaine Gu, the bionic Wasian, after winning 2 silvers and a gold at the Olympics in Italy, she didn't even go home to change. She's already driving photographers wild at Milan Fashion Week. Her haters must be exhausted. Well, you know, as an American, I don't particularly care because somebody decided to work mercenary to go compete for the Chinese, even though she can't be she's not a dual, they don't allow dual citizenship. Of course, I had to chime in here saying nobody is hating on her because everyone is obsessed with Alyssa Liu instead. I don't even know where this is where this photo is from. I think it's maybe like a couple years ago. Still got the same like hair, but this does not look like her outfit. Too light colored. That's the issue. I'm getting some oh yeah. Assume you have someone born and raised in Italy, best footballer. All of a sudden, after the guy was trained in Italy all his life, he decides to play for Germany or Spain. How does it feel? Capisci? Yeah, smart. Good comparison. The mourning of her dead grandmother seems to be going quite well. She was a really big part of my life growing up and someone I looked up to immensely. She was a fighter, and I think that's so interesting that a lot of people just cruise through life, but she was a steamship. This woman commanded life, and she grabbed by the reins, and she made it into what she wanted it to be, and she inspired me so much. All right. Heartfelt. She is a traitor and should never be trusted. I judge people by their substance, not their looks. Fair point. Of course, I went with fucking Surf's post on this. But she supports, by the way. Oh god, what the...
You have a token white, and you're hanging out with your friend group
This
of
isn't
color,
her.
you need to ask permission from everybody in the group to bring your white friend. Like, don't just bring them. Ask for explicit permission from everyone. Because just because you're comfortable with them doesn't mean that everybody...
Alright, some obvious Asian chick, like, it's like some weird video. Guys, like, trying... This is what Alyssa Liu supports. I have not seen her support. But I just... It was sensitive content because there's a bunch of videos of, I don't know, black kids beating... Yeah, that's where I was looking up her Instagram profile. So she's at 5.8 million followers, which is more than the 4 million followers that Miss Elaine Gu has. So yeah, she all you had to do was be pretty, perform well, and wave the flag. That was it. You got most turbo racist chuds who would probably have like psychoanalyzed you to hell and back on anything leftist you said. And you won their hearts. What am I doing? Oh, what the fuck? Grog, give her bright blue eyes and make her hair all blonde, change nothing else. No, you can't take that away from her. Fuck. What the fuck? He's tagging Royal Surf and then instead Grok gives it this. Nah, this takes away from the magic though. Yeah, somebody commented this and then I requoted oh god, Nazi symbol. Oh, come on. Don't put the Nazi flag on her. No. Not this post. Not quotes on Surf's post. Quotes on this. Quote tweet. Shouldn't be with her grandma who passed away. Okay, I guess her grandma passed away while she was skiing. This is like someone died at home. Man, so everyone's giving her shit about. I'm not gonna do Patrick Batewoman. No idea. The thing everyone's watching is the nationality issue. Quote tweeted this with something. Oh yeah, nobody is hating on Goo because everyone's obsessing over America's new sweetheart, Alyssa Liu, instead. So, oh, somebody ripped this from fucking Instagram. Like, I haven't seen any of the other competitors, but it's probably notable that like she's out there with her hair completely down, and like her two runners up were two Japanese girls who had their like hair in tight buns. Meanwhile, she's just going out there and having a great time. Oh, she's totally like freebirding it. While everyone else who probably was competing was like probably the most like diligently over the top, like trained as hard as possible. I mean, Liu probably trained her heart out too, but when she performed, she didn't like have like a stern face throughout. Am I tagging? World. Shooter. Retro. Yeah, but enough about Miss Liu. Not get weirdly obsessive like, well, be a little bit more on this. Through Pavlo. No. Oh, getting deported from the U.S., not really. As he was threatening to go to Billie Eilish's mansion. Nobody's illegal on stolen land. Okay, so he's mostly talking about Australian politics. Oh yeah, there's like they're giving citizenship to kids who were descended from ISIS fighters who went over to Syria. So he's like, fuck fearing them. You're not Australian. You're born to ISIS fighters. You stay over in Syria. All right. Oh yeah, here he is again. She's literally female Patrick Bateman. Her grandma died this week, and instead of going home to be with her family, she went straight to Milan Fashion Week. Bueno Cuccinelli? Muslim extremists in Sydney screamed ISIS still lives while bashing and torturing a young gay Australian man on camera. Main attacker walked free on parole with no conviction. I want the death penalty for jihadists, yada yada, damn. So there's like underground ISIS networks, and he was like getting into an argument with what's another account I follow, History Speaks, that there have been more Muslim men, fighting age men, who have went to join ISIS than joined the Australian military. Yeah, what was this? Go girl, I'm proud of what my dad did for his people in 1980. Yeah, because her father had to leave China because he was trying to organize protests and stuff. Hi everyone, the case regarding my family being spied on by the Chinese government is beyond sport. If you don't know about the politics and history of China, please refrain from commenting about it. I am proud of what my father did for his people in 1989. Oh, so was he involved in Tiananmen Square? Where? That happened in 1989. What the Liu family went through in 2022 is absolutely beyond sport. Only 16 at the 2022 Olympics. 4 years old, so she's only 20 now. All right, damn, she is young. Olympics and agents of the Chinese government were stalking, harassing her and her father. It's understandable she quit and truly inspiring. As far as I understand, it was also that she was probably getting burnt out from the sport and being like, you know, tiger parented to no end about it. But she came back to it on her own terms, which is the more inspiring thing. Doing, oh yeah, she's one. The story between Drew Pavlo and Captain Dreamer about how they were enemies and then became like cordial friends at this point. She's only one MAGA cock leaving woke-tardism. And there is a cynical thought out there that women's political opinions is determined by who is the last person they had good sex with. And of course, I appreciate, like, this is another account like saying, you tell me this is not absolute. I won't like those tweets. Those are, I don't need you sexualizing her. Right? In a vacuum, yes. Would I have sex with her? Yes. Is that going to happen? No. Like, if she was in front of me, would I straight up proposition her? No. I'd probably say, your story is very inspiring. Generally, these guys are not human. Yeah, they're just brain. More outrage over internet troll posts than grooming gangs in Rotherham sums up these people. Guy from Britain. Serbia and Kosovo. What? I'm 26 from Serbia. So not necessarily his prerogative, but okay, fair. Oh yeah. Apparently this guy was part of the Operation Inherent Resolve to get Maduro. Oh, Pippa just went. And apparently he had like his like fucking legs blown out, not blown out, but shot to pieces when they were trying to make the landing. And he had to make an emergency maneuver to hit the gunman on their copter, or helo, excuse me, pointing at whoever was firing at them. Amazing, I guess he still lives, so they gave him the Medal of Honor. Can't tell. He must be on like a lot of convalescence leave. Talk about a fucking unit of a man, Jesus. Like, I can feel his physical presence from this photograph. I guess that's what it takes to be a pilot like that. The only lieutenant? Oh no, he's a CWO2. He's a chief warrant officer. Enough about, oh, one nation is importing extremism and racial hatred to Australia. Is that the rifle or a shotgun? Looks like a rifle. I know they were going with shotguns, but the fuck. Dutch Colonial Penal Code in Indonesia 1918 wetback bans traffic did not criminalize consensual adult homosexuality, only acts with minors, like Dutch law since 1811. Indonesia lacks national sodomy law. Muslim Indonesia had Mardi Gras every year prior to Dutch colonization. Few talk about Mardi Gras every year. I guess he's being facetious purposely. All right. Anything else happened? Jennifer Zhang becomes U.S. citizen after escaping CCC persecution. 59-year-old Chinese-born journalist once detained and tortured in a labor camp for practicing Falun Gong. It's religious, like Tai Chi breathing exercise religion or spiritual practice or whatever. That got promoted in the early 90s, and then partially cracked down on when they did a simple like silent protest outside where some Falun Gong member had gotten arrested. God knows for what. Passed her naturalization interview by openly discussing her past Communist Party membership and renunciation. She joined 85 people from 31 countries and reciting the Oath of Allegiance on Tuesday, receiving a welcome packet and a signed letter from President Trump and words from the county clerk about blending roots with loyalty to America. Zhang, who now runs the media channel exposing CCP abuses, felt deeply moved by the warm ceremony and shared photos with local officials, while online reactions ranged from heartfelt congratulations to criticism of her Chinese language post. Jennifer Zhang. Oh, it's her? I follow this account. Inconvenient Truths. Member of International Press Association, CCP and China Affairs. As far as I know, the CCP has been actively recruiting pilots from the West to train PLA soldiers. There are more out there. Go get them all. Like, apparently there's like, it's found that there was like an article that came out that Britain's trying to gender diversify their fighter pilots. And then they came out a few months later, or weeks later, or around the same time that, oh, there are tons of ex-British military pilots training pilots for China. Like, that's allowed? That's illegal? You can just take your military experience from one country and go give it to another? That's not like hard locked out? Oh, Powder's still streaming? I think she's doing a subathon, so no wonder she's going through Skyrim. What else is doing? Genshin Impact, whatever. Looking through my Twitter. Back to my channel. Stop being distracted. So I knew she was like some sort of China critic or something. Account. She posted in normal Chinese on her personal account. So she posted about it in Chinese from this account. Oh, this is interesting. A very sad, interesting phenomenon. The exact same post about my naturalization oath ceremony, when posted on my English account, received almost unanimous congratulations, welcome, encouragement. But on my Chinese account, probably less than half were congratulations. More than half were curses directed at me. And the main reason for cursing was almost never because I personally did something wrong, but simply because my identity as a Falun Gong practitioner. Oh, I thought it was going to be like ignorant Americans, like saying, you talk about your naturalization in your prior country's language. I thought you were supposed to be assimilated. From this single point alone, it's clear that people of the PRC still have a very, very long way to go before they can truly join the civilized world family. I believe that in the English-speaking world, not everyone likes me either, but those who don't like me usually just ignore me at most. Very few would go out of their way to leave angry cursing comments. And in Chinese-speaking circle, the people who curse are either full-time paid Wamo of the CCP. I've never heard of that term before. Or ordinary people who have been deeply brainwashed by the CCP's hate propaganda. The completely baseless hatred they harbor towards Falun Gong and their arrogance and ignorance they reveal, looking down on Falun Gong practitioners, really make one side. After 77 years of CCP rule over the land, what on earth has it turned people into? Sometimes when I think about it, I truly feel worried for the future of the people living on that land. Yeah, there's something to be said. I don't know where this was. Like, this was like maybe half a decade back. Somebody posted something, and it was like some racially discriminatory it was like one of them was a picture of a sign on a store like saying not hiring people from like Yunnan or Sichuan provinces, because those are probably like the provinces where swarthier, so to speak. And there's another post. It was like showing like different physiognomy, and I don't even know how to pronounce that word. Facial structures, head shapes, and skin tones, like physical differences, phenotypical differences between like northeastern Chinese and I don't know, southwest Asian Chinese from like Yunnan or Guangxi areas of southern China. So I made the point, like, I swear the CCP is the only thing holding back China from descending into a fucking Yugoslavia times fucking 100. China's, very much a black box, so I wonder how much like racial, like intra-ethnic discrimination there is amongst like hatred that's like kept down by the CCP. Because they have to have some semblance of they have to put some sense of unity amongst all their population. It's like how fast things went from Tito falling to Yugoslavia turning into civil war and ethnic hatred that we thought we had banished like half a century ago. In China, God knows it might be worse. If anything, the internet will make it fucking worse. You'll probably like if like somehow the CCP government just totally falls, you'll probably have like unironic people like still voting for like a resurgent CCP like CCP revisionists or I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Not irredentist, what's the word I'm looking for? People nostalgic for CCP rule. I don't see that happening. Lots of question like I don't know, it's gonna be like any sort of power struggle that breaks down what's going on in China. And it's very much a black box, especially what's going on with Xi Jinping. Like about 2 months ago, it was nonstop news about how he's purging everyone in the fucking military, which everyone thought was like the part of the government that he had absolute control over. And it was more concerned that there were still lingering effects of the Jiang Zemin faction. Jiang Zemin, who was formerly premier of China, whatever the top, gave it away to Cao, but Jiang Zemin was still running things from the shadows. And then Xi Jinping came in, and then he went on his anti-corruption campaign, which did go after a lot of people who were in Jiang Zemin's faction. Yeah, this guy. He's dead now. He died like back during Biden's term, but there was like an understanding that he had sways across police forces all across China. So there was like, I don't know, there's some rumor that sometime between 2020 and 2024, there may have been like a coup attempt against Xi Jinping. Like it was incredibly muddled what coming out, like some dipshits may have tried something. And it happened in Shanghai, where Jiang Zemin's like power base. So like the dynamic, as I understood it back then, was the police force's loyalty to Xi Jinping is in question. The military he has locked down, but the military may not be enough to hold the country. The police forces may be able to effectively coup d'etat Xi Jinping from within. But now he's like going after everyone in the fucking military, purging everyone in the military. It's like, not projecting strength there at some point. Like how long before you're attacking everybody before everyone decides to say it's us altogether or him at this point? Xi Jinping goes. So, all right, I actually desperately need to take a dump. I'll be back. Please excuse me. Enjoy looking at Toadman, who is derisively Chinese. That was a hefty one. Not gonna lie. Yeah, so oh yeah, and also he's the guy who started the persecution of Falun Gong, but now that he's gone, it's not like Falun Gong doesn't care. They're still like disallowed because Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao may have been bitter enemies contesting control of the CCP, the People's Republic of China, but they can both agree that a religious group that has that level of that level of self-organization is a threat to both of them. So I thought, when sad, very interesting phenomenon. I thought, her posting in Chinese on this account may have been met with ugly Americans saying like, why are you posting about this in Chinese, speaking in English, like aren't you like assimilated or something? No, apparently it's Chinese people giving her shit about fucking Falun Gong. So jealous, you're lucky. Relations, truly qualified citizen. What the fuck? Bandit identity. I don't know if this is. Keep it up, you're awesome. Plenty of Chinese people, but I'm not seeing the negativity. She blocked quotes. I'm not seeing anything. Maybe she was able to block everyone. Not like she's hiding any of the tweets, so. Alright, that's nice. Welcome. Welcome to America. If you hate the CCP, you're fine in my book. Oh, yeah. As of Tuesday, Democratic early votes reached 665,000 statewide, topping Republicans 593,000. A sharp reversal from past GOP leads with record highs in counties like Dallas, Tarrant. Now again, the primary, but it might be something that there's a lot of Democratic turnout more so than previous years. Will that translate into the at the general election level? A sharp reversal from past GOP leads with record highs in counties like Dallas, Tarrant, and Travis. Dallas and Tarrant is, Dallas, Fort Worth. Travis is Austin. Harris is Houston. So, and Bexar County would be in San Antonio. Viral posts claim groups like CARE are using mosques, long allowed as polling location under Texas law, to organize Muslim turnout for Democrats, citing mosque growth and grants to Islamic organizations. Election experts point to competitive races and urban voting patterns as the real drivers, while Republicans call for strong election day participation before early voting ends February 28th. Oh, early voting ends on the 28th? Calendar. It ends on the 28th, so that's only 3 days before the primary, which is on March 3rd. Who are these guys? I don't trust that this video is from somewhere in Texas. Is that the Austin State Capitol in the background? Okay, this is probably somewhere in Texas. Yeah, there have been a lot of mosques going up, but it's not like you can legally stop them. mosques are active polling and voting sites right now in March 2026 primary. Again, they're probably legally allowed to do so. There's probably civic society and religious organizations offer their houses of worship as places to conduct elections in. But it's not like the church gets to run them. It's county officials. CARE celebrated 2024 when they helped make the Islamic Center of Brushy Creek, Williamson County's first Muslim polling location. Voting inside mosques across the state is happening today, and Democrats are blitting non-presidential early voting records. This is engineered. CARE's Nihad Awad calls mosques our infrastructure and outlines the plan. Build voter blocks and taxes at mosques, lobby laws, fund candidates, flip races. Erdogan said it best. The mosques are our barracks, the faithful are soldiers. Billions in Texas taxpayer dollars since 2017 have funded this network. Let me get a check on it. Does CARE get Texas government money? No, the Council on American Relations, including its Texas chapter, does not receive funding from the Texas state government. CARE is a nonprofit civil rights and advocacy organization primarily funded by private donations, mostly from American Muslims and other individuals in the U.S., with a small percentage from foreign sources in some years, according to their own statements. Oh, those foreign sources, that's the concerning part. People get uppity about. There's no evidence in public records, news reports, or official statements indicating that CARE or CARE Texas receives direct grants, contracts, taxpayer funds, or other financial support from Texas state government. In fact, the opposite is true based on recent developments. In 2025, Texas Governor Greg Abbott designated CARE along with the Muslim Brotherhood as foreign terrorist organizations and transnational criminal organizations under Texas law. This has led to restrictions such as prohibiting CARE from acquiring land in Texas and authorizing enforcement actions against it and its affiliates. Oh boy. Texas officials, including the governor and Attorney General Ken Paxton, have actively worked to prevent any potential indirect use of taxpayer funds to that benefit CARE. All right, so Miss Mech here is just making shit up. Investigations of CARE, that's probably going on. Ban voting in these Sharia compounds. You couldn't do that. Ban equal protection and taxpayer funding. That's not happening. Get to the polls now or taxes or we lose. So, fear mongering to an excessive degree. I don't know what, like, other than just restricting immigration to disallow more Muslims from coming into Texas in the first place. This is why we need Doc Pete this guy. The only reason I don't like him is he's for abolition of property taxes, and also he's against the got it, you're a cowboy, got it. We the remnant. He also what was it? He also is against the recent school choice thing that we had against. Like, I'm like on the totally outside like that. I want like public education like severely diminished. Like, you know, like max like 4 hours a day, maybe only 3 times a week. Through childhood, longer breaks, you know, 2-week hiatuses. Or definitely something that should be worked on is probably like getting people the chance to graduate at like 16. Like, public education stops at 16. You get your chance to get your GED and you do or do not get it, and then you're done. And you have to pay to go back. You get one free shot to get your GED, your high school diploma or general education thing. Otherwise you have to go and pay for it. But I would pair that with restrictive laws that you can't like require a GED as a means, as a requirement before employment. But you can a college degree, but most colleges won't let you in without a high school diploma. So Abbott's got it pretty locked in at this point. There's very little chance Mr. Chambers is going to make it, but oh well. But I'm seeing like some polls are coming out that Jasmine Crockett's going to clinch it for the primary election for the Democratic Senate nomination. So that's probably better for Republicans than Tallarico, who's like, he just looks like, you know, the kind of wasp that will come out of Texas. Somebody that could probably give Ken Paxton a run, or any Republican candidate a run for their money. All right, anything going out? Black Republican voter challenges Democrat on voter ID barrier. Ex-Air Force pilot arrested for training China. Arrested for Gerald Eddie Brown Jr., 65, a former pilot of F-4, F-15s, F-16, A-10s, and F-35 aircraft, was arrested February 25, 2026 in Jeffersonville, Indiana. He allegedly traveled to China starting December 2023, gave briefings to PLAF personnel, and provided unauthorized training without a State Department license, violating arms export laws. Oh, so we do have some law about it. You can just get a license to do so. That shouldn't exist. Yeah, or maybe we don't give them out to anybody. Oh, like, you can't do it if you're going to do it in China. You only have a license to go to, like, you know, allied country. Officials highlighted the betrayal with Assistant Attorney General John A. Eisenberg. Irontown. Because Eisen is German for iron and Berg is town. I forget. He's either Jewish or like incredibly fucking German. Knowing that the U.S. trained Brown to defend the nation, not aid its rivals, the case underscores concern over China recruiting ex-Western military experts. Can I get a picture of this guy? No. No. I don't know what this guy looks like. Not a robot. Thank you, U.S. Department. So this is from today. So call sign Runner, a U.S. citizen, was arrested today in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Without authorization, violation of the Arms Export Control Act. So no picture of this guy. So the name sounds, you know, American enough, white enough, but who knows? Maybe he was like he was like completely named by like some adoptive white parents from Indiana who adopted him straight out of China, and then upon growing up, he felt particular attraction or kinship with China over the U.S. That, or he's just a guy looking to make a buck. Thought he could get away with it. They could offer me $1 billion, I wouldn't take it. Some sense of fucking loyalty. The 54-minute mod. Registered sex offender runs for Fresno City Council seat. Woman flashes 65,000 Cash App balance after broke taunt at Walmart. What? Alright, I'm not looking at West Street. Why is West Street? That's somewhere from. Keir Starmer urges Nigel Farage to condemn and sack a reform UK councillor who shared posts saying MP Natalie Fleet should be shot. Oh, goddamn it. Yeah, they don't know how to, you know. With the new upstart party, you're going to get some wackadoos down at your lower levels. Like, we all knew that. Farage had an opportunity to call this out. He chose not to. His followers see this. It means this afternoon I'm receiving the worst stuff to date. His party put a target on my back. And they say they care about violence against women. Actions speak louder than words. The fuck is she from? Proud Mom, Grateful Life constituent. And email, yada yada yada. I will break your legs. There would be no nothing natural about Joan Manor Moore's death if I shoved him. Wow. Remember, this guy was pretty Can we sack West Street? All right, so people are making equivalency here. I don't know why. I just know West Streeting is something related with the running Minto. You complained about something online. I forget what. Oh, YouTube is like auto moderating her chat. That's what it was about. All right, OSINT Defender. Start out with him. Quick round. So, a senior advisor to President Donald J. Trump would prefer Israel strike Iran before the United States launches a large-scale air campaign on the country, stating that the politics are a lot better if the Israelis go first and alone and the Iranians retaliate. Claiming that Iranian retaliation would help muster support for American voters for a U.S. strike, who people familiar with ongoing discussions told Politico. That makes some sense. It still looks bad when Israel starts shit and then we come backing them up against somebody who really can't help themselves. But that probably would make it look optically better. Oh, Iran's bombing missiles. Israel started. Whatever. We're going to go in and back up our buddy because we have to. They keep on getting into fucking fights, but... Why is he posting this in Spanish? Oh yeah, this is something that also happened. According to a statement released by the Cuban embassy in the United States, 8 individuals allegedly involved in the shooting incident that occurred earlier today have been identified. Amijal Sanchez Gonzalez, Leonardo Enrique Cruz Gomez, Conrado Galindo Sario, Jose Manuel Rodriguez Castello, Christian Ernesto Acosta Guerra, Roberto Carlos Consuegra were identified following questions by Cuban authorities, while Michael Ortega Casanov has been identified as one of the 4 individuals killed during the exchange of fire. Additionally, Cuban authorities claim the assault rifles, handguns, and improvised explosive devices, Molotov cocktails, body armor, telescopic sights, and camouflage uniforms were all seized from the boat, and they were alleging that the group planned to carry out terrorist attacks inside Cuba. I don't know. Another individual, Cuban national Dunez Hernando Santos, was arrested inside Cuba. Cuban authorities claim that he confessed to having been prepositioned from the United States to Cuba in order to facilitate the group's landing. More to come. I mean, I could believe that we're actually trying to infiltrate saboteurs into Cuba. Or maybe they're making this all up and it was just like some Cuban from Miami who went on a boat and then crossed the wrong line and now Cuba's making up tons of shit about them. But, not gonna lie, it sounds like we were trying to insert saboteurs. During a briefing earlier today, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that Iran poses a very grave threat to the U.S., that they are actively working to develop intercontinental ballistic missiles that could target continental United States. This comes as Iran submitted a draft proposal to Omani mediators today in Geneva, Switzerland, as the 3rd round of indirect talks around their ballistic missile production and nuclear program are set to kick off tomorrow. I mean, yeah, they probably could engineer one. Will it get through? Probably not. Could they produce enough of them to spam through us, through our defense shield and land a nuke? Yeah, because then they can land one bomb. Well, if they do that, then Trump could probably fully rally the entire entire country against him, against Iran. But Iran would have to do it like out of nowhere with, you know, some breathing space between whatever happens now or like the 12-day war. Couldn't just do it if they did it out of nowhere. If they did it in retaliation to us bombing them with an if we bomb them and then they hit us with an intercontinental ballistic missile, a lot of people are going to look at it like, we provoked them. Like, what do you want from us? I'm not signing up for a war with Iran. Stop bombing them. The United States has sent top-of-the-line fighters, F-22 Raptors, to Israel, marking the first time it has deployed combat aircraft to the country for potential wartime mission as the two nations prepare to square off against Iran, according to the Wall Street Journal. Trump administration hasn't officially announced the deployment, and U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, which oversees American military forces in the region, declined to comment, though videos of the aircraft arriving in Israel began appearing on social media Tuesday. The deployment of F-22s to Israel comes as Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have said they won't let the U.S. use their airspace for territory for an attack on Iran, limiting American options for basing the hundreds of aircraft necessary for major Iran campaign against the Republic. Let me ask them the right question. Yes, Qatar stated that it won't allow its military bases for ops against Iran. Per multiple reports, including IDSA analysis, regional officials also attribute similar positions to Bahrain and Kuwait. So that's fucking everybody. There's nobody on the Persian Gulf who's willing to help us. Use of Israeli air bases will enable U.S. Air Forces to disperse its warplanes among a variety of bases rather than concentrating all their air power in a handful of regional airfields closer to Iran, U.S. officials tell the Wall Street. This is like, oh, we don't need their help anyways. According to Libby Dean of News Nation, the boat used in the attempted extraction that was foiled by Cuban authorities was registered to a 65-year-old Cuban-born man who reported the vessel as stolen after being contacted by U.S. authorities. The vessel was docked in the Florida Keys. The individual in question is not a suspect at this time. 4 people were killed, 7 injured, including a Cuban border guardsman. Exchange of fire that took place 1 nautical mile northeast of El Pino Canal. So they fired on them, so... This is highly suspicious. That was a major. Flash report got anything? Rubio comments. We have a prospective plan to strengthen our national nuclear force and will focus on projects to increase the number of nuclear weapons and expand nuclear operational means and space for use. Okay. Possibly South Korea's complete collapse cannot be ruled out. God, what a fatso. The U.S. withdraws its policy if the U.S. withdraws its policy of confrontation with North Korea by respecting our country's current status, there's no reason we cannot get along with the U.S. God, even Trump's like not fat compared to this. God damn it, Graham. If the media reports are true that a consideration of allowing Iran to have a very small enrichment of uranium for face-saving purposes, through that, this regime is made up of religious Nazis that are the largest state sponsor of terrorism. The regime has American blood on its hand. They have killed over 30,000 of their citizens simply because they demand an end to their oppression. I could care less about efforts to save face for the regime. I would like to see the people of Iran change the regime. It's long overdue. I hope help is on the way. I'll take the deal. I don't want the war blowing up. Ultimately, so I'd take the deal. I don't care if they have like some small level of uranium enrichment. Trump told Zelensky in a 30-minute call that he wants to end the war with Russia as soon as possible, ideally within a month. Yeah, because like he wants like, you know, feather in his cap of like, I ended a war. Vote for my party in the midterms. Iran has searched oil experts from Karg Island, loading about 20 million barrels from February 25 to 2020, nearly triple January's pace, as U.S. boosts military forces in the region. Satellite data showed tanker activity doubling, suggesting Tehran is moving oil quickly in case tensions disrupt shipments. Smart move on their point. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they try to rebuild the nuclear weapon, that causes problems for us. In fact, we've seen evidence that they have tried to do exactly that. Alright, what's the last statement Mr. Rubio has had to say on this? Rubio on Iran. If in fact you're interested in a peaceful nuclear program, you can do it like most other countries in the world to do it, which is they have above ground reactors and they import the fuel. We have deals now to do that with countries. If they were really wanted, if what they really wanted was energy, they could do small modular reactors, which is something that's quite affordable and achievable for a lot of countries. When you say we want to enrich deep underground, you have a history in the past of enriching to 20 and even 60%, plus you're building missiles that could potentially carry warheads. It doesn't sound to me like a country that's not interested in building weapons. At a point, it seems that Iran wants the ability to have breakouts to a nuclear weapon if it feels that it needs to, for whatever reason. Like if they need to, they can bum rush making a nuclear weapon. But not necessarily have one, get one immediately. Rubio on Iran. Eventually we'll have to have conversations about more than just the nuclear program. But if you can't even make progress on the nuclear program, it's going to be hard to make progress on the ballistic missiles as well. I mean, potentially we could make a deal about some sort of political liberalization and ignore their nuclear program, but the point would be that a decade down the road, the political liberalization leads to the total regime change, or a more clear way of clear path to regime change than us from the outside affecting it. So then the regime changes and we stop doing a nuclear program. Or we have a nuclear program, but we show earnestly that we're not trying to build a bomb. The International Atomic Energy Agency is able to get full access to it. This is an unsustainable threat. Yeah, how much popular discontent can they shoot their way through? About an hour and 7 minutes. I should probably call it breakouts. What's it? Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Hopefully it stops breaking down, stops crashing, so I can actually finish it. Then make a decision. But right now, I'm thinking I just open up Far Cry 3. I will say infiltrating base is a lot better than the patchwork shanty towns that.
And the ranges continue to grow every single year exponentially, which is amazing to me for a country that's facing sanctions, whose economy's in tatters, whose people are suffering, and somehow they still find the money to invest in missiles of greater and greater capacity every year. This is an unsustainable threat. And the ranges
Unsustainable threat, or this is like say, or this is a obviously homicidal regime or threatening regime if they're willing to push through for continue to immiserate their citizen, their population, and keep up their military program. The regime is far more interested in preserving itself than preserving the lives of its own citizens, the well-being of its own citizens. So, and rant. Make sure I'm on the right account. Still getting likes on that tweet. Not enough for the wow. She's getting the initial tweet about Ellie and Goo is only got 10,000 likes, and I've only got 377. Oh, happened.